tries to get beyond the last defender, clips in a ball towards Shaw, and it's headed in by Coombs! Laura Coombs!
We win as a team, we lose as a team, we draw as a team.
Team! And Little sees her penalty saved by Keating.
Our goal is to win the league.
I'm going to push all my teammates to fighting for these tickets.
Greenwood sends it in, left footed, the header is flicked on, and Alexandri gets her first goal of the season.
Lovely play, into the area goes Roord, and Roord does make it 2-0.
And Kelly to line this one up, oh! She has hit an absolute beauty!
In Manchester, like it would just be massive winning an away game against them.
3 precious points up for grabs.
There is nothing more exciting than playing against Man United.
Well, it's the big one. Welcome to Derby Day, welcome to Match Day Live here at the home of our noisy neighbours. The first time that this fixture has been held at Old Trafford. Alongside me for this one, Nedum Onuoha. It's a big one. The first women's derby at Old Trafford, and it's filling up nicely already.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's very, very exciting. I think the talk is there are going to be 40,000 fans here. I think City have brought a good contingent as well. And it's crazy that it's the first time, but we'd hope that it won't be the last time. And it would be nice to make new memories here as the blue side of Manchester trumps all yet again.
Absolutely, that's what we want. It's been a bit of a miserable day here so far, but hoping that come full time we'll be celebrating the 3 points. We mentioned the sort of sense of occasion, you know, how many fans are coming in. This is a very settled City squad who have done these kinds of games before. Do you think they're prepared for this one?
Yeah, I think they're prepared for the matchup. I think the difference to me in terms of football is just the emotion around, say, being here. I think for so many people, they've seen this as being such an historic ground for so many years, but most of them have had the chance to go out there on the field and try and play in it. And I think as well, you know, it's a true away game when 40,000 people are going to be shouting against you. And I think for most professionals, whether that's men, women or anything, you don't really play in front of crowds that big. But you hope that the team, they're prepared. There is experience in terms of playing in big games before. We're just about executing on the day, and what a big difference that could make.
It's a different atmosphere, isn't it? Look, you can hear as the teams come out the boos. We had the boos from the home
boos
fans.
For you? Was there a boo for you?
Not for me. No, not that's only for you.
Okay.
The boos for the City goalkeepers. It's something that they might not have had to contend with on this scale before.
No, they won't. But in fairness, I think a lot of people here are just coming to get a chance to see some of these players. I think whether it's City, whether it's United, these are some of the best players in the world. So some people will boo. It'll probably be the same people that would have booed at Leigh Sports Village. But you hope that, you know, with the City fans going to be there, they're going to be encouraged as well. And I think if good football ends up being the key factor today, then I think they'll be respected.
Absolutely. And obviously, you know, a word for the growth of the women's game and how incredible it is to see stadiums like this, we'll say of this size, maybe not this stadium in particular.
It's got some history. It's got some history.
Out to this extent.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, best of all, it's going to be 40,000 people here. And the weather, as you mentioned, has been miserable. So the fact that people are still coming out to get a chance to see this derby game, which is one of the biggest derby games in, say, women's football, I think it says a lot about how far the game's come. Absolutely.
Right. Let's take a look at the City team for today and how Gareth Taylor's side line up. In goal, our superstar Kiara Keating. What a start to the season she has made. We've got a back four of Laia Alexandri, Alex Greenwood back in the squad after that concussion, Leah Uhabi and Alana Kennedy. We've got a midfield of Philippa Angadal, Jill Roord and Dewey Hasegawa. Lauren Hemp is back in the starting 11. Chloe Kelly and, of course, our star Khadija Bunny Shaw leads the line. Nedum, what do you make of that starting 11?
Yeah, it's a very, very good starting 11. There are lots of experienced faces in there. Obviously, there's the youth in Kiara as well. But that's a very, very strong side. And I think there's some really good players on the bench as well that will hope to sort of get a chance to be out there on the field and make an impact. But, you know, the most exciting bit for me, you're seeing Lauren Hemp, Chloe Kelly and Bunny Shaw. That's a fantastic front line. And I think if you are going to get something for today's game, I think you're going to have to score more than one. So it gives them the potential to do that because they're some of the best attacking players in the league. So it's a good side. But then again, it's City, so what do you expect?
Absolutely. Talking of some of the best attacking players, Chloe Kelly, what a start to the season that she has made, the chances that she's creating. She's been in brilliant form. It's quite the contrast to her start to last season.
Yeah, it certainly is, but you know, this is the way the football goes. You don't necessarily play your best football all of the time, but she's very motivated coming into this season. I think, is she player of the month as well? It's not a bad accolade to have. So yeah, she's very, very confident. She gets starting all the time. She's doing well for England. She's doing well for her club. So at this point, football is the most enjoyable and easiest thing in the world to do. And I hope she can try and leave a mark in this game as well.
She does look like she's playing very free-flowing football, and that's what you want, and you think that's what they'll need today against this United side. You can be a little bit unpredictable, but when you talk about stability, Alex Greenwood back in the defence, she's been missed for the last couple of games, hasn't she?
Yeah, she absolutely has. And to be fair, it's not necessarily something specific to, say, the way she defends, but it's just the experience in terms of being able to manage the games themselves. Because there are times when, for say, a side aren't necessarily going to be in the ascendancy, or times when they are, they're not capitalising on those sort of moments. But in terms of that leadership, she can definitely be out there, someone that's very, very experienced, and she won't be nervous about this game at all. She'll be excited to lead her team out there and get a good result.
And there you go.
There they come.
You can hear
come on, girls. Come on.
As the City team run out. They are headed over to a slightly warmer welcome in the corner where the away fans are.
It's awesome. Do you know what? I've got to say, this is awesome. Like, it's getting me excited. And obviously, I'm a washed-up former pro. But that feeling of coming out onto a field in places like this, and people boo you because they know that you're good. If you didn't matter, they wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
So I think for a lot of the players in this team now, they'll be very keen to get out there, warm up well, and then go and leave a mark in this game, because I'm sure we'll talk about the history of this fixture soon.
Yeah.
But here's a chance to create new memories in this new space.
Absolutely. Talking about Jill Roord quickly as well, she's had a brilliant start. She's the only player that this will be her first derby day for, but she's got experience in huge games like this in Germany and from her time here in the WSL. Yeah,
this is one of the best players in the world we're talking about here. She's not brand new to it. She's played in big games. And for as much as this means everything to us, this might not even be the biggest game she's played in. Someone who's played in Champions League finals, for example. So I'm sure she'll be very excited to come here to play and to win. And even though you don't have the experience of having done it before, you know how to manage in those big moments. Because again, a result is never simple. So when you're down, who's the person to help you get back up? And when you're up, who's the person to capitalise? I think she can be that player.
And I'm sure we'll talk about it in a little bit more detail later on, but last time out against Brighton, 35 shots.
It's a lot of shots.
It's a lot of shots.
It's a lot of shots,
How do, when we have Bunny Shaw leading the line, how do the team make the most of having her there?
I think in terms of her movement, her game understanding, her physicality and her eye for goal, it's the type of person you need to have in your side, because at times, they can bail you out. And for as much as you want, and you're used to seeing City sort of dominate possession, move the ball really well, sometimes when your back's against the wall, you need someone that can go and make that difference. And I think she's very capable of that. I think she can press really well alongside the others in that front three. And you need, she's got, I think it was 31 goals she got last year in 30 games for the club. I think anyone that can average a goal a game is definitely someone you want to have in your team and on the field at every opportunity.
Who's the player from that starting 11 who you think maybe goes a little bit underrated and we should be keeping an extra eye on today?
I don't know, because I think when we talk about people being underrated, I think obviously goal scorers get the headlines, big signings like Jill Roord get the headlines, but then you're talking about, say, the other members of the front three who are England internationals. Yeah. But then you've got you, has to go, and the players themselves will say that, like, she's one of the most important parts of this whole team. I think Alana Kennedy would need to play well today, and Alex coming back into the team as well. It's a big boost. Those are two very experienced players in the heart of that defence, because in fairness to United, they've scored a lot of goals recently, so they'll have their tails up and they will be confident in terms of being able to affect the game. And you want people that will be able to manage those moments. And then if we want to talk about excitement, talk about our young goalkeeper in Kiara Keating. Yeah. For as much as this is a big game, think how big it is for her. I think she's 18 years old. Absolutely amazing. Most people never get a chance to play here, but she plays here in a Manchester derby. So yeah, in terms of underrated, I think they all get the ratings that they deserve from the people that matter the most, and that's the reason why they're in the side today.
How impressed have you been by Kiara Keating this season and the start that she's had?
Do you know, to start with, I was surprised that she was playing over, say, Ellie Roebuck, but as time's passed, obviously people make mistakes, but youngsters tend to make more mistakes than older players. But it's the way that she reacts to it, and the fact that she's still trustworthy on the ball, she's still making saves. Like the examples against Arsenal, she conceded a penalty, but then she saved it.
Yeah.
The ability to bounce back from adversity, not everybody has that, and I think she's got a good personality in terms of understanding what to do for the side. Feels like she's willing to learn, and she's trusted by everyone at the football club. So even though there's competition for her place, while she's got it, she's prepared to do everything she can to make sure that she stays in there.
Well, some brilliant analysis of our starting 11 today, but time to hear from our manager, Gareth Taylor. We caught up with him ahead of the show.
Gareth, we're here at Old Trafford. How are you and the squad feeling ahead of today's game?
Yeah, good. Looking forward to it. Typical Manchester day. Lots of rain. Good surface to play on. Big pitch for us. So, yeah, looking forward to the challenge.
Yesterday we announced the news of Kiara's new contract. How good is that for the group, and what boost could it potentially give us today?
Yeah, it's great. You know, she's done really well for us this season, Kiara. She's spent her first year last year as a pro with the team. So she's learning every single day, and she's got two good goalkeepers to work with that are helping her a lot. And she's been a great addition for us and helped us a lot in the games this season. What's your message to the players ahead of today's game? Just to enjoy it. I think that's the main one. Go out and give everything. You know, we know that we'll have moments where we'll control the play. We need to be composed and calm in that situation, but mainly just to go out and enjoy the occasion. And finally, playing here at Old Trafford, how can we potentially use the home crowd to our advantage today? Well, to try and silence them, I think, is important, and we'll do that by dominating the play like we normally do. We need to be, like I say, calm and composed on the ball, and when we get our opportunities, be clinical. Best of luck today, and thank you for your time. Thanks, guys.
So that's what the boss, Gareth Taylor, had to say ahead of the match today. Nedum, he also, in a couple of his preview pieces, as you can hear the noise, the noise is already incredible here at Old Trafford. But Gareth Taylor saying in some of his preview pieces that he's calling on the players to take responsibility, particularly after the last two losses in the league. What does a call from the manager do to a team?
What is a call?
Yeah, what does action do for a team?
I think it makes you sort of ask the question about yourself individually. You're doing everything that you can to try and be in a better situation. Because if you are and things aren't working out, then fair enough. But I think that call, it sort of shows the level of importance of this fixture, the fixtures that are ahead. Because the team's good enough to have not lost those last two fixtures. So now you have to react, and what a place to do it. Who knows, this could be the start of something very special for them. Get a chance to beat a side who appears to be one of the form sides in the league, and also happen to be down the road and one of your biggest rivals. So I think when the manager chooses to say something like that, it's for a reason. He wants to be heard. And even though he said it to camera, he's likely said it to those players all week in the build up to this game.
And, you know, when we talk about the importance of this fixture, it was decisive at the end of last season, the loss over at Leigh Sports Village. And we're already seeing that, you know, with City dropping points in the last two games, this could be a similar fixture. But in the same vein, as you mentioned, we know that City love to put a brilliant run of form together, and what a way to kickstart this could be.
It certainly can be. This game, it doesn't feel like a must-win as such, but then it kind of does at the same time. You know, you don't want to be losing to a team who are already ahead of you. I think you see historically in the WSL, you can't afford to lose too many games if you want to achieve your objectives. If you want to be finishing in that top 3 or 4, the top 3 rather, you have to be able to perform, and you have to perform consistently, because the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, you know, they can go and run as well, just the same as you can. And if you're going to be relying upon beating them late on in the season, it might be tough. But it's a very, very important fixture. I'm sure the players are acutely aware of that, and the derby just adds that extra element, because whoever would have played against this week, they would have needed to bounce back after the result from the week before.
And, you know, that match that we just mentioned, sort of as an exception, we do have brilliant form in the derby. We've got a great record. What are some of your favourite Derby Day moments that you remember for the women?
Yeah, there are a couple of little dinks and stuff from Caroline Weir we could speak about. You know, I just love beating them, I'll be honest, I love beating them. And we can talk about those specific goals, because they're the ones that get the most highlights. But I quite enjoyed last year, and even though I didn't end up in a win, I enjoyed going to the Etihad, bringing my kids there, bringing my family there, bringing my friends and their family to go and watch the girls play. And it was a really good performance and a great sort of reaction to not necessarily being at their best in that first half. And although, you know, you hope to be able to win those sorts of games, it ends up being a memorable occasion, an inspirational occasion for so many. So yeah, getting a chance to see them play at the Etihad was certainly something, because I could say to my kids, you know, I used to play there as well. And from that point, especially with my girls, to be fair, my son as well, you know, we all love City, but they love City women. That's what they want to check on. That's the most important thing to them. So that derby itself was the sort of spark that ignited the love of football within them. And that's an incredible thing to hear from when, you know, we look out in the crowd now and see how many young girls, young boys there are in the crowd. It's incredible to see the growth of that, and that they're excited to come to women's games now. Yeah, absolutely. And some people might say women's football is about younger people and so on, but younger people are the future. I think when it comes down to men's football, there is an element whereby some of the ideas are like entrenched in beliefs and some of the atmosphere. Some people don't necessarily enjoy coming to games, whereas I think for these people here, they really enjoy it. And when they see the people out in the field, these are stars to them. These are people who they aspire to be when they're older. And I say it's great to see because some of the football we see today will be as good as you'll see anywhere up and down the land.
Yeah. So we are going to hand you that because we had the very exciting news over the weekend. We've mentioned her already. Our 19-year-old superstar between the sticks, Kiara Keating, has extended her contract until 2027. And today we have her signed shirt to give away.
It's not bad, though, is it?
It's not bad. Don't pocket it. We're going to give it away.
What do I have to do?
What do you have to do? There was a question. And this is a question that I've been mulling over in my head. Who did Kiara Keating make her senior debut against?
How long until the lines are closed for this?
Oh, how long until the lines are closed? I think we've got until after the game.
Okay,
so
Google.
Don't Google it. Don't Google it.
I won't Google it. I won't Google it. I will not Google it. I will definitely not Google it. I definitely will not Google it, but I will be taking part.
The lines are open until the full-time show, but that is what you can get your hands on.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's stunning. 2027 signed shirt. And the question is, who did Kiara Keating make her senior debut against, as we throw that back to our producer?
Just nobody in particular. There's nobody there.
To keep it safe. The number is on the bottom of the screen, to make sure that you send your answers into that. I think I know because I think I was there.
You think you were there?
I think I was there.
Do you think you could share that information with a friend?
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm hoping that when I get the answer at full time that it will be right, because if not, I'll be mightily embarrassed. But on Friday, we caught up with the young goalkeeper on what has been a remarkable and brilliant start to the season so far.
So Kiara, congratulations, new deal to 2027. How does it feel?
Yeah, obviously it's a proud moment for me and my family, obviously. Just staying at this great club, I think we got so much more to give, and I'm just glad I can be here for an extra 3 years to contribute to the team.
What was it that convinced you that this was the right place to be and that you wanted to extend your stay?
I mean, I don't think it was ever in question. Like, it's always been home since I was 11, and I feel like it's just an honour to obviously be offered that contract extension. So yeah, I don't think it was ever in doubt that I wasn't going to stay.
You're obviously still very early in your career, but you've had a lot of senior minutes this year.
Yeah.
How important has that been for your development this season, do you feel?
Yeah, I think it's huge. Obviously, you only get better from when you put in real life situations of a game, and I think obviously Gaz has put his faith in me to start all the league games in the season. So I feel like, yeah, it's just confidence building. Like, the more games I play, the more obviously I gain confidence, and yeah, we should see what it brings.
Speaking of the manager, how important was he in your decision to want to stay at the club?
Yeah, huge. Obviously, Gaz putting his trust in me and me playing so much this season. I don't think anyone expected it, but obviously he has a plan in his head, and I'm just glad that I'm part of it.
And obviously there's a lot of important people behind the scenes in terms of coaching staff and also other players, your fellow goalkeepers and senior players. How important have they been in just supporting you and helping you on your journey so far?
Yeah, I think they're so amazing. I think this team, we've been tighter than ever than previous seasons. I feel like it's just so much more homey, and like, you're so much more comfortable to be around each other on and off the pitch. I feel like when you have trust in a team, that's the main thing, and I feel like this season we do trust each other a lot, and I feel like that's how we're going to get far.
Are there any key messages that you've sort of been given, or the rest of the players from the manager and coaching staff, to sort of help you through these first few months of real regular senior minutes?
I think just do me. Like, I got to the position I am just by being me and my attributes. I feel like everyone has faith in you, so just go out there and perform and do what you need to do.
Speaking of your attributes, obviously you've got so many, but a real quality of yours is your ability on the ball and your distribution. Do you feel like that's something that's really valued at City? So do you feel like that's something that suits your style and the club's perfectly?
Yeah, I think obviously people come to City because the way we play football, so I feel like my attributes and the way the team plays fit quite well, but obviously it's just depend on the game, whether we want to go long or short, and like Gaz's decision at the end of the day, but yeah, I feel like I fit right in.
We're hearing from our superstar there, Kiara Keating, and your attention was just taken a little bit. You saw a ball dart past you, Nedum. How much would you want to hop onto that pitch and chase after that ball?
To be honest, the grass looks okay, but I prefer it here next to you, entertaining the millions of viewers we've got right now.
So Kiara, what a start to the season that she's had. You know, we saw her in glimmers last season, particularly the Arsenal game. You know, we've seen her step up when she's needed to. but I don't think any of us really expected her to be starting every game, but she has just done so well.
Yeah, she has, and you know, there's something to be said about getting an opportunity, but then also being able to take it whilst there's pressure behind you, because you know the likes of Ellie, Roebuck, really good goalkeepers behind them. These are like England internationals who are back up to her at this moment in time. But in fairness, she's had the opportunity, she's taken it on board, and she's getting better and better and better as every week passes. And I think that's what you want from young players. You don't want people who are just going to be in and then just stay the same, because the experience is different now. What you like when it's an open age football, what's it like when you're playing against some of the best in the world? And in fairness for her, she doesn't look like a weakness from that City standpoint, which says a lot given the sort of ambitions that the club have.
Yeah, and when you look at how young she is, 19 years old, and that goalkeeper role is so much about having confidence to, you know, shout at your defenders where to go, tell them where to be, you know, really make the most of that back line and lead them as well.
Yeah.
It's insane that she's got that confidence to do that at such a young age, and that's only something that's going to develop.
Yeah, it absolutely is, but I think to be able to bark at defenders, especially being a former defender myself, what you're saying has to be correct, and what you're saying has to have the best intent. And I think if she manages to have that, then people will listen. And as we can see at this moment in time, people are listening. She's got a good understanding of the game itself. Obviously, she's still learning certain aspects and some of the little details that help players become more successful. But she's got that in the locker. When she shouts, it's because she needs to be listened to. And if you listen to her, it will make her job easier, which will make your job easier, which helps the team overall.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, when you look at a contract extension, tying her down until 2027...
must be nice, eh?
It's something, but we don't see it a lot in the women's game, do we? So that is super important, and it kind of sets a precedent. Yeah,
I think it certainly can do. And don't get me wrong, not everybody will be in a position whereby they can, you know, have a contract that can tie them down for that long. But what a way to give her almost like a pat on the back for what she's done, and a belief that she's going to be part of the future of the football club. She can really start to knuckle down and think about what she needs to do to get better, what she needs to do to help the team achieve their objectives. And, you know, if she wasn't the right person, it wouldn't have given her a deal that long. And I think, as you said, even though it's not normal within a women's game, I would like to see it be something that happens more often.
Yeah.
You know, it takes one to bring the others through.
And the alignment, like we see over the road at the Etihad with the men's team, you know, having the EDS progress through into the first team, you know, it's another brilliant example of that from the women's side.
Exactly. You know, as I was younger, I never fully understood the value of inspiration until I got to the end of my career and I looked at the people that inspired me to do what I did when I was younger. And for me, I was very fortunate to see the likes of Shaun Wright-Phillips come through and be magnificent. But when I speak to, say, some of the City women now, like Steph Houghton, for example, she talks about male players she used to see when she was younger and how they inspired her to play. But there's a gap there because maybe there wasn't the opportunity to play. But now you can see through the women who are playing today, through young players coming through like Kiara, that someone young somewhere will be inspired by that. And as a consequence, believe that that dream, you know, can become a reality. So I think that makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. And I think that not only from a domestic club point of view, but from a England and a national team point of view as well. Well, let's take a look at who she'll be up against this afternoon here at Old Trafford. You can see the teams up on the big screen. The United starting 11. Mary Earps between the sticks, another keeper who's had an incredible start to the season following on from her brilliant summer in Australia. Letitia Blundell, Ella Toon, Melvin Mallard, Katie Zellum captains the side, Leah Galton, Nalsund, Turner, Paris and JC. So that's the starting 11 for Manchester United. The name that immediately springs out after the past couple of weeks, which I didn't expect to be the name that would spring out at the start of the season, is Nikita Paris, who has been in brilliant form, slightly unexpected, and kind of embodies this unpredictable United side.
Yeah, I think they have been unpredictable. Obviously, they're a couple of points ahead of City right now. But then they've also been knocked out of the Champions League in an early round. So the season as it stands for them, even though it looks like it's promising, they've had a huge disappointment within there. Maybe that was one of the reasons why they need to rejig things a little bit. And I think some of the results they have been good. Some of the performances haven't been totally convincing, but they're a good side. You know, I've watched them play here myself before, and I've seen them put in a good half's worth of football, and it was the second half. So some of the players, their experience in terms of dealing with this atmosphere. But yeah, Nikita doing well, and other players for them doing well, and you know, seeing like Williams on the bench who always scores in like the 80th to 90th minute. There's this sort of like feeling I've got within my bones in a minute, which I don't like, but I'll thankfully shrug that off by the time kickoff happens.
Yeah, I think Rachel Williams is a name, again, I think at the start of the season that we might not we might not have expected to be pointing out, but she's come on and proven that from a substitute point of view, she can change games completely.
Yeah, it certainly is the case. And obviously, I'd imagine she'd want to start more games. But then when you keep having an impact off the bench in those late situations, when you need something, then I suppose the manager's going to decide to keep you in that same position. But it's funny to talk about the whole spectrum of this here today. She's right behind us as well, actually. The funny thing about it is, we're talking about Kiara, who's 19.
Yeah.
We're talking about Rachel, who's 35.
Yeah.
There's such a spread in terms of talent and age, and all our different experiences. But they all have a huge impact in what today's game will likely be. But I just hope the 35-year-old does not score against a 19-year-old today.
Yeah, and then we've spoken about earlier on in the show how important our front three are and our attacking forces, but they are against the wall that is Mary Earps.
Listen, a lot of walls have been broken down before.
They have indeed.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Until she's like 7 foot tall and 20 feet wide, I say there's a belief that you can score goals, and I think that's what this front three can do. They're so direct. They will take on people, and if it ends up being a game that's end to end, add back City's front three. And Mary Earps, obviously, she's England's number one. She's been a runner-up at a World Cup, won a European Championships with a lot of these players she's playing against as well. But I've yet to see an invincible goalkeeper, so I'm expecting that net to bulge, because the net is that size for a reason.
Yeah, and one of the players who'll be looking to make an impact and break down that wall is our very own Chloe Kelly. She was named the Joy Player of the Month, and it was Esme Morgan who went to give her award.
Chloe, after an outstanding month of goal scoring, congratulations on winning the Joy Player of the Month. Thank you very much, Es. How does it feel? Yeah, it's great. Can you sum up your month in 3 words, please? Heart, goals, energy. Love that. Okay, so we've got some fan questions. So Arnold, age 11, has asked, what is your favourite type of pizza? Oh, I'm a bit of a plain Jane. Margarita. Standard. Mohammed, age 9, has said, who is your football idol? Football idol. I used to love watching Adele rap to keep me on. Skills. Yeah. Street footballer. Love it. That. Neve, age 9, has asked, how did you know you wanted to be a footballer? From when I could walk, I always had a ball at my feet, so I guess I gave myself no option. Love it. Harper Ray, age 10, has asked, how did you get over the fear of tackling and the ball hitting you? That's a good one. I don't think I ever had a fear. It's not gonna happen. From when I could walk, I always had a ball at my feet, so I guess I gave myself no option. Love it. Harper Ray, age 10, has asked, how did you get over the fear of tackling and the ball hitting you? That's a good one. I don't think I ever had a fear. It's not going to hurt me, so I'm alright. Even coming back from injury, you were just straight in. I remember watching the game back and you just went straight into a crunching tackle, and I thought, go on, Cleb. Yeah, I think never playing with fear, I think, is always like you're playing a little bit on the edge, and I just think if I'm going to get hurt, I'm going to get hurt. Let's just go for it. Very true. And finally, Millie, age 12, has asked, what was your favourite moment in October? My favourite moment in October was the Chelsea game. I think the character that the girls shown throughout that game brought so much fight to the game, and yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Quick, Tony, go!
Go! Go!
Right, Ellie's come second. Go get it. Quick! Dad. Play. Well done.
Well, Chloe Kelly with 2 very important goals in October. We mentioned it earlier, she seems a changed player to how she started last season, and she grew a lot at the World Cup.
Yeah, she certainly did, yeah. I think for me, this is the price of experience. You know, the more opportunities you get to sort of express yourself as a player, to play on the bigger stages, then you find something within you, and you find that little bit of confidence. And she knows, you know, she's basically a starter for England, the starter week in, week out for City, who are trying to aspire to win the league itself. Like, what more of a pat on the back do you need? She's working hard at her craft, and she's involved. Like, listen, every time I scored a goal, I thought I'd score in the next game as well. I scored about 20 goals in my career. But imagine for her when she actually has the opportunity to get shots off, to go and take on the fullback, to get assists with set pieces and really make a difference in terms of the dynamic of the football club. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me, and it's good to see.
And it's not just the goals and the number that she's scoring, it's the calibre as well. You know, that goal against Chelsea, that one against Liverpool.
Yeah.
What a sight that was.
You know, I love it when I see people do stuff which I never would have dared to do, and would also possibly not be able to do myself. And I think some of her goals fall into that. I think maybe the next stage of career is being able to score loads of tap-ins as well. But the fact is, you're scoring goals, you're making an impact for your team, and you're affecting the general context of what a game is.
Yeah.
And I think attacking players stepping out here on occasions like this, that has to be key.
And she's grinded out, you know, when the team have had those 1-0 wins, the goal against Leicester, you know, it's been her goal that has been the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I think not every game is going to be... No game is easy, but there's some games when you've got enough of a cushion to where you can try things that are a bit different. But a lot of the time, because the teams you play against are good, maybe it's a 1-0, maybe it's a 2-1. You've got to find a way to grind out a result, to score that first goal. The first goal impacts games so much, because it'll affect how teams you're playing against will play. It affects how you play going a goal down versus going a goal ahead. So I think if you have enough people on the field who are capable of being the person that makes the difference, then having the likes of Chloe gives you a big advantage over others.
And, you know, that confidence that she has, we mentioned the free-flowing football, but then also, you know, when she's on the edge of the area to take the shot, and that's something that we felt was missing a little bit last season from this team. Yeah,
I think that's fair. I think at times, you know, they have a style of play which creates lots of opportunities, say, in certain areas, and that's sort of like golden zone from like 12 yards outside the goal. But then at times, you just got to let it go. Just if you see the goal and you get the opportunity to shoot, especially, as I say, I've got on a day like this where the pitch is as slick as it is, you never know. And I think at times, as I say, you might lose games to people who have speculative efforts, but then you could also create opportunities for yourself. And I think the girls and all the guys that I've seen, they practice shots from outside the area.
Yeah.
So if you're in the game, take the opportunity, because it might not be the best opportunity, but it's still one nonetheless.
So we mentioned some of our favourite Derby Day moments at the start of the show. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a couple of minutes. One of my favourite moments from last season, Laura Coombs scoring that absolute worldie. She's always got a bit of a presence about her on Derby Day, hasn't she, Laura Coombs? And she and Dana Castellanos have been catching up with our reporter.
The Manchester Derby is the game that it's probably the first game of the season that we really look for, and we want to, we want to put our stamp on it, and it's such a rivalry now, and it's getting bigger every year. And I think for us, it's so important that, you know, we go into it really fighting, and we just want to win it, just really for ourselves and for our fans. It's come at a perfect time for us, this game, having come off the back of 2 losses now. A win on Sunday would be massive for us in terms of our confidence, and a real getting our season back on track. You know, they finished above us last year. They're a great team, and, you know, a win would really help our confidence. I think it's football, everything can happen, and for us the next game is going to be so important, and it's going to be a lovely game. Obviously it's going to be a derby, so there is nothing more exciting than playing against Man United.
There was a glimpse of an opportunity to snatch back possession with decent hit, wonderful goal, the first ever in a Manchester derby in FA WSL is an absolute blinder, scored by Caroline Weir.
And have you noticed a growth in the rivalry since that first professional derby in 2019?
Yeah, definitely been a growth in the rivalry. I think the first year we weren't really sure what it was, like it was on paper, but maybe in terms of us girls it maybe wasn't a massive rivalry. But now every year, you know, they've beaten us, now we've drawn, we've beaten them, and I think those results have really helped to grow it, and the fans really buy into that game as well now, and it's a really big game for us.
I've been in so many teams in the past, and this team is something that is very, very special, and we are like, all of my teammates are nice, and they for sure like made us to feel at home since the first day, and that's something very special, and we communicate well, and like we understand each other, and we also like have a mixed cultures on this team that sometimes it could be a problem, but in this thing it's not. It's something that we embrace, and we try to learn from other cultures, and that's very exciting, and that's very positive.
Everyone on the team wants to play in these games. You know, they're feisty, they're intense, and that's the feeling you really crave as a footballer, to be involved in days like that and games like that. So I think this week everyone will be working their butts off in training to try and get some minutes on the pitch this weekend.
Kelly tries to get beyond the last defender, clips in a ball towards Shaw, and it's headed in by Coombs. Laura Coombs stooped to head it in from inside the penalty area. The cross from the right from Kelly, and Coombs stooped to conquer, and it's 1-1 at the Etihad Stadium.
Probably last year at the Etihad, it was great. I mean, yeah, we were losing at the time, and we came out second half and we gave a really good performance, so it was nice to score and get us back level. I felt like we wanted to go on and win the game, and unfortunately that didn't happen, but it was an amazing feeling regardless.
We really have a nice group of players, and we consider all of us like we are friends, and that's something very rare, and I think that's the most special part about this team.
How much do you feel like the Manchester derby has grown over the years?
In the women's game, it grows every year. I've already touched on the first one we were involved in. It was a bit of a novelty. In the women's game, it hadn't really been a thing, but yeah, the clubs are both massive clubs now. Both clubs want to win the league. They're not just, you know, top and bottom of the table, so it's a must-win game now as well as a derby. So it's a very important game.
That's Laura Coombs and Dana Castellanos. We've just seen the team walk past us. I think I nearly took Steph Wharton out with my umbrella. But they seem in good spirits despite the rain and the slightly partisan atmosphere here.
Yeah, they certainly do. I think they're excited for the game. You know, they probably want to get out there, get their first touch of the ball, you know, try and affect the game in a positive way, maybe get that first goal, you know, quieten the crowd a little bit. It's exciting. I think these are some of the games that you remember more so at any other than, say, certain others in your career.
And it wasn't just the players. We also saw Sean Gota go past, famously scoring a brace in 2002,
yes.
City's first Derby Day win
yes.
in 13 years. He's come into the coaching team, and Gareth Taylor says he's settled in really well. How important is it to have someone like that in the squad, coaching and encouraging?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think those who've played the game, who want to enter the coaching side and be able to sort of teach some of the nuances of what it is to actually play. And I think that's great because not everyone has that ability and that facility to have someone that can do that. I think he's obviously a legend for the football club. He scored a ton of goals as well. And I think his keen eye in terms of some of the details that gave him those opportunities that he had are going to be very important for looking at the City forwards in this game today.
And also just a player and a coach and a person who is just so happy all the time and is always smiley and just must bring so much just warmth and good energy and good vibes to the team.
Like, you know, a smile is very contagious, and I think he delivers that. And as well, for his demeanour, he wants the best for you. He wants the best for you as a player, best for you as a teammate, best for you as a player who he's coaching as well. So it's always great to be around, and I'm sure he'll be telling the girls in there coming out that, you know, try and enjoy it. These days, you know, they're few and far between getting a chance to play in front of this many people. Like, this is sort of the games that some people have dreamt of. I think for them, it'll remind them that, you know, to play your best, you have to be relaxed, but you have to be ready, you have to be focused. And as they go out there, I'm sure they're going to make a very good account of themselves.
What would they be feeling now going down the tunnel? The atmosphere's building here.
Do you know, everyone's in such a different situation. You've got some players there who've played in like a World Cup final. You know, you've got some people that have never played in front of this type of crowd before. But the fact is, you've earned the right to be here. And you know your opponent, you know your foe. Some of the emotions that might exist just before the first ball gets kicked might be anything, but then all of a sudden it's a game of football. can you sort of understand what you need to do to make sure that you play well in this game? Can you do a good job for your team? Can you do a good job for, say, whatever's needed in any particular moment? Rest on the people who have the experience of dealing with these moments, and then try and maximise your potential. And I'm sure they're excited. I'm sure they're going to get booed when they come out. But like I said before, if you get booed, it means you're a good player. It means you're affecting the situation. So things are looking good.
Well, like we said, atmosphere building here. We're going to throw you over to our commentary team in just a second. But Nedum, I've got to get a score prediction for you. I don't do predictions.
Score predictions are so toxic. They're so toxic.
But go on.
Because I'm distinctly blue, I'm going to say 3-1 to City, and I hope it's going to be deathly silent in here for most of the game.
That's what we want to hear. That is what we want to hear. Nedum, I look forward to spending the next 45 minutes with you and your analysis, City. And of course we'll bring that to you at half-time as well and at full-time. Remember our Kiara Keating competition as well. Be back at full-time and half-time for that, and we're going to throw you over to our commentary team, and we'll see you back at half-time.
Thanks to Alan and Nedum. Now, guys, pitch sides, more history will be made today. A record attendance expected for the first Women's Super League Manchester derby to be held at Old Trafford, surpassing the landmark created